What's up, everyone? I haven't been on in a while. I was fishing this weekend. That was everyone's Monday. I've never done a Monday show, so I don't know if that's good or bad or how many people come on. Good evening. Good evening. Is my headphones working? Can you guys hear me? Are my headphones on? Can you guys hear me? You guys can't hear me? Thank you, Patton. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I'm not sure if I hope it's working. Okay, cool. Sorry. I wasn't sure. I got new headphones and I wasn't sure if it was still picking up my old ones. I made a video. Did you guys hear that the Supreme Court's going to relook at, I don't know what the case is called exactly. It's the Brown or something. It's one about the gay marriage. You guys hear about that? What bothers me about this isn't just that. It's the fact that these white supremacist MAGA want to keep preaching the Bible about one man and one woman. But yet they were fine voting for a guy who's been on 3 marriages now. Pete Hegseth, who's been on 3 marriages and had children out of wedlock, and JFK on his 2nd marriage, and Elon Musk has 14 kids with 6 women. So can anybody make sense of why it's okay for those guys to have multiple wives and multiple baby mamas and somehow that's okay? But if you get married and you're gay, that's outside the design of God. Does anybody understand what that means? And the level of hypocrisy is it's a little mind-numbing to me, to be honest with you. The hypocrisy's off the charts. It just seems like this is all about control. And I was a Republican until 16. And what that party's become is an absolute disgrace. There really just seems to be no morality, no decency, no honesty, no integrity, no free will. All they want to do is take away people's free will. It's ironic, isn't it, that they preach about the Bible and free will and God this and God that, and all they want to do is beat people up and punish people. Omar, there is no bottom. No. The guy in the White House could probably eat a baby on TV and they would say, well, nobody's perfect. Who am I to judge? But did you see her emails? I really believe that. I really think that there's a chunk of his base that even if he's on the Epstein files 15, 20, 30 times, they truly don't care. They don't. And I think that's a shame. It's a real shame. And they go to church for 1 hour and say Joe and the Ho and F Joe Biden, right? And praise Jesus. Tell me how that makes sense. Yeah, Deborah, you know what I determined about 3 months ago? I heard somebody say something really interesting. Republicans, well, they're not Republicans. The MAGA white supremacists, which is what they are, they don't actually vote for themselves for the betterment of society. They actually vote against the Democrats. That's really sad. And when you have that mentality and you view part of this country as somehow your enemy, you're not going to find common ground with them. And I think part of this goes back to the fairness doctrine. If you go back, I think it was 1983 when the news is supposed to be partial and unbiased. When that was taken away and you have 24-hour news cycles all day, every day, it's garbage. It's propaganda. I haven't watched CNN in almost 2 years. They now have Scott Jennings on there, who's a white nationalist. And that's what it is. I don't know. CNN's gone off the rails. They keep wanting to go more to the right. You got Jake Tapper, who's wrote a book about Joe Biden. Do you think Jake Tapper would have the courage to write that about the guy sitting in the White House now? No. He's doing it because he can make money. If he knew what he knew, allegedly, he should have done it while he was in office. But he didn't because he wanted to make money off of it. It's a shame. It's a real shame that what's happening in this country. And then today, it looks like we're going to have basically a police state in D.C., and that's what it really is. Yeah. And Van Nuys, part of it was not just that they capitulated, like firing Stephen Colbert. They keep doing this again and again, and the colleges are doing it again and again. Which event do you think had a worse impact, 9/11 or January 6th? Ooh. I think that 9/11, for a lot of MAGA white supremacists, it scared them, right? They saw that non-white people committed a crime on our soil, and that was the first. When you hear traditional family values, it means white America. That's what it is to MAGA, right? And then you went from that, and then you went to Barack Obama, the black president, and that really pushed them over the edge, and they got very, very, very nervous and very uncomfortable. And they went back to what they know, the plantation owner. I think January 6th is who they really are in their actual core. There's a chunk of this country that doesn't want democracy. They don't. They want to burn the whole thing to the ground, and they don't care if they're inside of it. They're anarchists. They really don't. But it's always who it's. What I try to tell people on my TikTok when I started 2 years ago, these Pharisees never wanted church or God or the Bible or Jesus. They don't want any of it. It's religion. It's a way to control people. That's all it is. The original MAGA was the Sanhedrin, the crucified Jesus, right? Because he didn't conform to their religious ideology. That was the original MAGA. They just didn't have red hats made in China. Who did they choose? Who did MAGA choose 2,000 years ago? This Jesus guy, this radical left woke libtard, right? That was, oh my gosh, he's just giving food away for free and he's curing people for free. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. Or they chose Barabbas, who was literally in prison for causing an insurrection. He murdered people. They literally chose a murderer and an insurrectionist and a convicted felon over this woke Jesus guy. Is Trump much different than Barabbas? No. It's the same mentality. It's the same, hey, Miguel, it's the same immorality, lack of decency. What do you hear from these MAGA men, these wannabe alpha males, right? I'm a real man. Ooh, cry harder, lib. Ooh, Second Amendment, America, America, freedom. I'm a lion, not a sheep. Well, I thought Jesus was your shepherd. Is Jesus the shepherd of lions? Like, it's so stupid. There's no compassion with these people. Thank you, Linky. And the problem is it starts in the church with a lot of ignorant trailer trash white Americans. That's what they are. And I don't care if they like to hear that or not. They are. They don't care about anybody. They could be homeless, eating garbage on the side of a street, and they will vote against the Democrats. That's how much they don't like them. Hegseth is pushing. Yeah, when I started my TikTok channel 2 years ago, I warned about what's happening right now. This is about white Christian nationalism. You have to think that these people do not want women in places of power. They don't want them in authority, and they sure in the hell don't want a woman president. And for them, Vice President Harris was just a bridge too far. It was a double whammy, right? It wasn't that she was a woman, she was a black woman. But go back to 16. Hillary Clinton still won by 7 million votes. Minority rule. That's where we are. The majority of this country aren't MAGA white trailer trash. They're not. But right now, because of minority rule and 90 million people didn't vote, this is what we get. Yeah, this movement has torn my family apart. But Van Nuys, I actually think I know this is going to sound weird. I don't actually believe this tore families apart. What I think this did was it showed us people in our family, and I have them too. Think about this. These people in our family said that rape wasn't a red line, sexually abusing Jean Carroll, 25 other women wasn't a red line, molesting 13-year-old Katie Johnson wasn't a red line, January 6th, where officers were beaten and dragged down the steps and stabbed with flagpoles and pointy objects wasn't a red line, insulting people, birtherism. They said, none of this matters as long as I have cheap eggs. It exposed who people are in our life. And I actually think it's good that we separate from them because this isn't political anymore. This is about just having a moral compass. And there's people like Joe Rogan that just hoard himself out for capitalism because Joe Rogan is a capitalist. And I don't care if Joe Rogan has 50 houses, if he's worth $8 trillion, if he has more listeners than everybody in the universe. I don't care. He's still a piece of crap because Joe Rogan didn't see sexually abusing women as a red line. And that's why a lot of women don't come forward, is because of little immature boys like Joe Rogan who are attracted to this toxic masculinity where you're smoking cigars and you got neon lights and you got Bud Light on the table and you talk like you're like 3 years old and you have the IQ of an elephant and you have like ripped shirts and torn shirts and you try to make like you're some kind of bro and you go out and you arm wrestle grizzly bears and you catch salmon with your bare teeth and all this stupid crap, this weird jacked up toxic masculinity. But God forbid you tell a dude you love them or give him a hug because, that just makes you a sissy lala. Gunny speaks out. Yeah, January 6th should have been a red line. Jean Carroll should have been a red line. Grab him by the PU blankety blank should have been a red line. There's a lot of red lines. 13-year-old Katie Johnson should have been a red line. Not writing to black people should have been a red line. But they didn't care because they hate the same people he does. And the story I share and I always go back to is Bruce Wayne and, people don't tell because look at this country. We just voted for a man who abuses women, right? Oh, I like his policy. Well, let's go with that. Are these people? I bet you some of these MAGA would probably vote for Hitler because he doesn't identify as a Democrat. Hey, he did some bad stuff to the Jews, but you know what? I like his policy. I don't vote for the person. Hey, Benito Mussolini, yeah, he enslaved 130,000 of his people, but you know what? I really like his policy. I don't vote for the person. I mean, this is where they are. You could excuse everything, but somehow Hillary's emails and Hunter Biden's laptop, it's just a bridge too far. But if you molest children on Epstein Island, hey, you can't judge. Nobody's perfect. Hey, Pretty Mo. They did, and we didn't know because we didn't Christian fascists. Yeah, they're Christian nationalists. It's white supremacy. Here's the reality. If we're really honest about it, and this is what I've really talked about, this country has never been great for everybody except for me. That's just a fact. It was designed by founding fathers that were racist, that owned black people like property. They designed it for only 21-year-old white men to benefit. And ever since that time, everybody outside of that demographic has been treated less than. That's a fact. Jim Crow, segregation. Look at the Native Americans. Look back to Jackson. 60,000 of them were forced back east, and thousands of them died from sickness and illness and exhaustion. Women couldn't vote, couldn't have credit. They literally couldn't even buy a house because they had to depend upon their man. And that's where Pete Hegseth want to go back. They want the woman to be submissive to their husband, and it's gross. Asians were in internment camps. This is just where we are. Miguel said, what policy did the orange orangutan have? White supremacy. It's that simple. And the news has done a piss poor job of talking about it. The only time I've seen the news talk about it is sometimes on MSNBC. I've seen it was a black gentleman. He's a psychologist from Harvard, I think. Joy Reid knows it. She says it all the time. Most people that aren't my demographic know what the problem is. We as white people just don't want to admit it. That's what it's about. It's the original sin. Because when everything happened with Martin Luther King, with Rosa Parks, with all that stuff, you know what white people did? The same thing we're doing now. It's not my problem. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. I'm going to look out for myself. Yes, Eddie Glaude. Yes. I've emailed him. I'd love to interview him, but I haven't heard back. Yeah, Eddie Glaude is incredible. And he's completely right. Do I think the midterms will make a difference? Let me answer it this way with a question, because I like to do this sometimes. Let's say you have a car that has 500,000 miles on it, okay? It's leaking oil. It gets like 2 miles to the gallon, okay? Does it matter if a Republican or a Democrat is driving that car? Is it going to be any more efficient? No. That's what it is. Hey, Yara. We've been told that we have to stay within a two-party system, and that those were our only options. We have been told to feel helpless, that we have no control over it, that there's just nothing you can do. You have to vote for the two-party system. It's a choice, because we've been told that we have to constantly vote for the lesser of two evils. That's not democracy. It's really not. It's control. And both parties suck. They do. And anybody at this point that doesn't see that is stuck in tribalism. And when I interviewed Eric Swalwell, I have to clip out some of the pieces. Yeah, we do. We need a new government, but here's the thing. There's not enough people that want to be uncomfortable right now. This is what has to happen. We need to stop working and paying federal taxes and protest every day. And the list of demands are on my general strike form. But enough people don't want to be uncomfortable. They're not willing to leave their jobs. That's just a fact. They want to stay in their comfort zone. Can you imagine if Rosa Parks says, I don't want to lose my job, I'm not going to sit on the bus, or if Martin Luther King said, I'm not going to give a speech because I don't want to lose a job, or if John Lewis didn't cross a bridge because he didn't want to lose his job. And that's what white people are doing right now. I can't. They literally have every excuse not to stop fascism. And they think that it's not going to affect them. What's going to happen if you don't do anything? That job, that paycheck that you struggle right now, living paycheck to paycheck, it is vlogs. There's a lot of people in this country that still are hiding behind their white privilege. And they're still afraid to talk about this, what's going on, because they're worried about their Uncle Bob or their mom or their dad. I don't care if my dad sees it. I don't care. I think fatigue is the problem with protesting on a Saturday every 2 months, because there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Human beings need an ROI. If we're going to do something, we need something back. If there's an input, there needs to be an output. And there isn't one. But the one place that there is, they're not willing to be uncomfortable. It's like, I want to lose 50 pounds, but I still want to eat pepperoni pizza for dinner. It doesn't work that way. But too many Americans want to take a diet pill or a supplement or have gastric bypass. They want to take a shortcut. There's too many complacent, lazy people. I said lazy because they are, that want a shortcut to stop fascism. They want to write a letter, call their congressman, call their senator, go to a town hall, do a No Kings protest every 2 months. And let's look at that. What has it done? Let's look over the last 6 months. Have any of those things, and I'm not saying they're bad, they're good. They show that people are angry and upset. What have they changed? Nothing. Literally nothing. We're all guilty of it, Von Eyes. I'm not perfect either. The book of Nehemiah, read it, telling you. I've read Nehemiah. My favorite minor prophet is Habakkuk, and my favorite major prophet is Jeremiah. I love Jeremiah. That's a great book. I'm reading Maccabees right now in the books of the Apocrypha. But yeah, I don't think people are, they're not willing to get comfortable. And right now we have a police state in Washington, D.C. This is a police state. There's no crime there. And it's never been about crime. And Democrats have done a piss poor job, right? They talk about law and order in the border. Has anybody here, and I'm going to ask this question and answer it, has anybody here heard one Democrat say, I find it rich that every Republican's talking about law and order in the open border, allegedly, and how you're worried about all these criminals, but yet you voted for a felon and a rapist? Has any Democrat said that? Because I haven't heard it. I haven't seen them online, on the media, with journalists, during interviews. I've heard none of them say that. Yeah. How many Democrats said, give me the names of 50 kids that had transgender surgery in grades K through 12? None. How many Democrats said, give me the names of 50 schools in grades K through 12 that teach CRT? None. Give me the names of 50 DEI hires, allegedly, that are unqualified. None of them. Yeah, I like Stansbury's from New Mexico, right? I actually like her. She's good. The problem is, and my wife said it today, she's like, the Democrats are all talk. Strongly worded letters. That's it. They don't even say that this country. Yeah. We're actually exporting guns to Mexico. They're committing crimes. Do I watch David Pakman? I love Jasmine Crockett, but there's not enough of her. That's the problem. There's just not. I don't watch a lot of the bros. I might have an unpopular opinion about those guys. I'm always going to be who I'm going to be. I don't care if it's Midas Touch, Lincoln Project, Pac-Man, Brian Cohen. Tell me if any of those bro podcasts have talked about white supremacy as the reason that we're here as a country. Because I haven't heard them talk about any of it. That's just a fact. And it might be unpopular, and I don't care. That's the problem. If we ignore it again, and this is the one chance that we have to fix it, it's not going to matter if a Democrat or Republican. Yeah, it's money. Do you know why they do it? I want you to go look at their videos. Bright yellow letters. Oh, is this the end of Trump? Ooh, this is catastrophic for the administration. Oh, did she really say this? Question mark. They're whores. For capitalism. That's what it is. They're baiting on your outrage in order to make money off of you. It's a grift. And people spend all day on Blue Sky grifting. That's it. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Secular Talk Kyle. I don't watch a whole lot of podcasts, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I listen to like true crime stories. Kalinsky. Citizens United is, if we do not overturn Citizens United, there's no reason, in my opinion, to continue in this two-party system. Because once the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in 2010 that a corporation has the same rights as an individual, we have 3 people with as much wealth as half of our country. How is that free speech if Elon Musk or Zuckerberg or Bezos dumps $1 billion into an election when the average worker at Walmart makes $30,500 a year? How is that person going to be able to contribute anything even close to what Bezos does? There's no way. It's impossible. And when they overturned Citizens United in 2010, corporations raised as much money that year, just that year alone, in between 1995 and 2009. They raised as much money in those last 14 years. That's how much that Citizens United has ruined this country. It is. A corporation should not have the same rights as a person because it's not a person. A corporation doesn't exist. How can a corporation who's not a person have free speech? It's bananas. It's totally bananas. I had an interview with Swalwell, and I don't... Kevin Roberts, you can't send a corporation to jail. Yeah, you're right, Deborah. And even right now, the Supreme Court is off the rails. The Supreme Court is a political branch of the, in my opinion, it is a political branch of the executive branch right now. It is. It's bought and paid for. They're doing whatever their orange daddy tells them to do. It's disgusting. It's really, really gross. I have no faith in the Supreme Court in any way, shape, or form. I'm trying to pull up my interview from Eric Swalwell. I was going to play the clip for you. Hold on. I interviewed Eric Swalwell about 6 weeks ago. 192. 8. Hold on, let me find it here. Recordings. Here it is. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can play this interview. I'm still new to this on YouTube, so. You guys hear? Or no? No? Can you guys hear him? You can hear him? Okay. All right. I'll clip it and I'll play it later. I don't know how to. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Hold on, let me find the clip. I'll clip it later. Sorry, I don't want to leave you guys there, but basically, I interviewed him for half an hour, and I haven't done StreamYard. This is all new to me. Eric Swalwell said they would only consider endorsing a general strike if it helped the Democrats win. That's just what he said. It is what it is. I mean, that's what the dude said. So he said that a general strike is too demonstrative. We literally have people in concentration camps. We have a police state in Washington, D.C. We have U.S. citizens being detained because they're being racially profiled. But doing a general strike and stopping fascism is too demonstrative. And his answer is vote for us in the midterms. We'll do something. I'm not kidding, people. I mean, that's just what the dude said. I thought he's my congressman. I thought he was one of the good guys. And you can see him squirming in his seat. Like, he was uncomfortable. He thought that would be, I don't know. I'm just very disappointed in him. And I don't think the Democrats have enough fight in them. And there's too many Democrats that are going to vote for Democrats in the midterms. Yeah, I don't know. The blue MAGA, the far left extremists, they're going to make every excuse for Democrats again and again and again and again and again. And they're going to keep voting for them no matter what they do. Yeah, he was. And I can't log into Descript. I don't know why. Let me log in with another account. Hold on. Let me see if this is it. I can find the clip. I can play it for you. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, Eric was hoping for a puffer interview, and I'm like, I'm going to push back on the guy. They're two birds of the same side, two sides of the same coin. They are. The Republican MAGA are morally bankrupt, but they're both in it for the money. They're both in it for the power. Right, Ben is, but here's the problem. There's too many people in the United States of America that are too damn selfish. That's just, whether you like to hear it or not, it's true. If their mom was a Jean Carroll, so they voted for him. Their dad was an Officer Sitnik, so they didn't care. Their grandpa wasn't an officer that was injured on January 6th, so they don't care. They just don't care because it didn't affect them. Well, the problem with Nancy Pelosi is I don't like her either. She's a district north of me. She's a dinosaur. She's part of the problem. And there's a young guy that's running that appears to be very progressive, but she has too much money, too much power. And that's the problem. She's been in there since I was in high school, 94. My God, go away, lady. Get the hell out of here. And that's the difference between a Republican, and I'm not even a Democrat. But Republicans won't even criticize their own party because they have to win. And that's where toxic masculinity comes into play. There's this part of their brain that feels like they have to win everything. I wanted Katie Porter to win over, I don't like, what's his name? The dum-dum that won. Adam Schiff. I don't like him at all. Yeah, I don't like him at all. I didn't like the fact that Katie Porter didn't win, and I think the establishment is doing the same thing. I mean, the establishment basically tried to get Andrew Cuomo to win. Right? Now think about this. Andrew Cuomo quit his job because he sexually abused or harassed 11 different women. He literally had to quit his job because of it. And the Democratic Party goes, yep, that's the guy we're going to get behind. Oh, in addition to that, we're going to give him some money. And in addition to that, we're going to bring in a former President Clinton who was getting a BJ under his desk by Monica Lewinsky while he was president. That's what the Democratic Party is. It is. Tell me it's not the same coin. And over 400,000 Democratic voters said, that's not a red line. We're still going to vote for him. Let that sink in. Those same voters are complaining about the guy sitting in the White House on the way that he's treated women, and they still voted for Andrew Cuomo. Think about that. Think about it. Pretty gross, isn't it? Yeah, it's gross. It's blue MAGA. You're exactly right. And when you go on Blue Sky, there are hardcore. Some of those blue MAGA are worse than the MAGA. They're nasty. I had somebody actually create a fake account and pretend to be me and say, "Hi, Paul Lance is a racist." Do you know why they called me that? Because I criticized Cory Booker because he's black. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. That's why they said I'm a racist, and I criticized Cory Booker. I'm like, this is who they are. And they all assume that I voted for Trump just because I'm white. I'm not, because I happen to criticize the Democrats. I mean, isn't Hakeem Jeffries the minority leader of the congressional party of Democrats? Yeah. Who am I supposed to criticize? I can only criticize Joe Biden, but not Barack Obama. Like, that's such a stupid argument. It's so ridiculous. But some of these far left blue MAGA, this is what they do. Hakeem's a joke. He's an utter disgrace. He has no backbone. Stop bashing. What are the Democrats doing? What? Let's look at what the Democrats doing. Don't defend them. Don't be blue MAGA. Don't do that. All of them, all 50 Democrats voted for Marco Rubio. How's that working out? 124 voted against impeachment because it wasn't politically beneficial. That lady, Swatkin, said, "I can't chain myself to the White House like AOC because I live in a purple district." 10 voted for the CR. 10. They pushed this bill along. They could have shut the government down, and they didn't do it because they didn't have the backbone to fight. Al Green stood up. The only guy that had the backbone to say something. Nope. 10 of us Democrats, we're going to censure him because we live in a purple district. We have to do what's right to get reelected. 14 Democrat senators voted for the crypto bill. Cory Booker voted for a convicted felon, Charles Kushner, because he gave him money. Now, you tell me what exactly the Democrats have done that doesn't deserve for them to be treated like this. They ain't done a damn thing. I'm getting texts right now. Give me $10. Hey, fam, give me $10. I'm not MAGA. Vote for me. That's a great platform. That's working out really good. Yeah, I am going to bash the Democrats. I call balls and strikes. And there's too many people that are stuck in tribalism. On Joe Jorgensen, would you ever consider voting? I don't know her. But I will say this. Kamala Harris did say something in writing on Stephen Colbert. The system is broken. I'm going to go back to my car analogy. We have a car with 500,000 miles that gets about 2 miles to the gallon. It leaks oil, has 3 flat tires. It doesn't matter if Jill Stein, Joe Jorgensen, Democrats, Republicans, Independents. It doesn't matter who's driving the car. The car needs to be thrown in the dumpster, crushed up, and you have to get a new car and you have to rebuild the system because the system is not working for the people. And the longer we wait, the less wealth that we're going to have. And it's all going to go to a handful of people and we're all going to be living in the Hunger Games. That's the truth. We're looking for a party to save us. The party's not the problem. The system is the problem. Yeah. Rewrite the Constitution. That piece of paper says all men are created equal, but then it has a 3/5 clause where black people are worth less than. I don't give a damn that there's an amendment. I don't care. I don't want to live in a country where we say equality for all, but the Constitution, written by racist slave owners, says that black people were only worth 3/5 of a person. How is that great for everybody? It's not. There's still too many people that can't say that. They see an American flag and they think of freedom. Go ask a black person if their grandparents thought this was a great country. Did they have freedom? Were they forced to pick someone's cotton? Their great-grandparents are probably in somebody's will as property when they passed away. Go ask Asians' grandparents. They were in internment camps. Women couldn't buy a house two generations ago. Hell, women couldn't have no-fault divorce until the 1980s. Go ask the Native Americans if they think this land is great. We stole it from them. We killed their ancestors and just took it. Yeah, and the problem is there's too many people in this country, in my demographic, that are wannabe alpha males that literally only care about the Second Amendment and nothing else. That's it. That's all they care about. And they worship the founding fathers. They literally own people, but oh, no one's perfect. Wow. That's a privileged thing to say. That's a really privileged thing to say. This country wasn't designed to be great for everybody, and it hasn't been. Hell, even Abraham Lincoln owned slaves. We are the problem also, Adam Schiff. I wouldn't say that we're the problem. I would say for a lot of people, tribalism is the problem, because too many people are still willing to vote blue no matter who, because they still want to vote for the lesser of two evils. They're willing to put the Democrats in charge of the car with 500,000 miles with 3 flat tires that gets 2 miles to the gallon. It's tribalism. Politics is viewed, not you, but there's not enough of you, David. That's the problem. There's not enough people like us that see that the system is broken, and not just that we see the system's broken. There's not enough people willing to break the system because they don't want to be uncomfortable. We want to eat our pizza and lose weight. It doesn't work that way. We want to fight fascism while sitting at home watching Netflix. It doesn't work that way. And they're going to wait until it affects them. Thank you, Deckard. I'm not even sure if I call myself a Christian, to be honest. You know what's interesting about that? The Bible never says to be a Christian. The Bible never says to be religious. The Bible never says to have rosary beads or to be a Lutheran or a Catholic. It never says any of that stuff. That's religion. People, specifically men, created religion to control people. And that's what we're seeing now. Christianity is being weaponized to control people. They're going to take away gay marriage. They're going to take away women's right to vote. They're going to put a woman back in the kitchen. This is control. It has nothing to do with the Bible. It is just a weapon that they've used, a vessel to weaponize people and to scare them. Yes, I wish people would vote intelligently. But when you have tribalism, and when you hear, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Okay, 2 parts. Let's say you were. What about everybody else? Aren't you supposed to love thy neighbor as thyself? Well, what if everybody else is doing great? Well, I'm doing great, so I don't give a damn about them. See, that's the problem. They're not people of faith. They're selfish. They love thyself. They only care about themselves. They're supposed to build their wealth in heaven, where moth and rust can't get to them. But what do they care about? Money, money, money. I have more taxes, less taxes I have to pay. I have a higher 401k. I get more money in my paycheck. They've exchanged morality and decency for capitalism, for Caesars. Aren't you not supposed to give unto Caesar what is Caesar's? And that's what the white supremacist Christian MAGA movement's done, is they've craved Caesar's money, that which is of the world. Yeah, they're the biggest hypocrites in the world. Yeah, and are you better off 4 years ago? And the other part of that is, just because you have more money, we have assumed as a country that means that you're better off. Okay, let's say you have more money, but you don't have rights as a woman. Your autistic child no longer has special needs in school because the Department of Education is taken away. People are being racially profiled, having their arms dislocated, zip tied by people in mass, being kidnapped. Immigrants are being sent to countries that they're not from. Okay, what about them? Okay, Germany pays a 35% tax rate. Is it a lot? Yeah. They don't have the homeless problem we do. They don't have the gun violence that we do. They don't have these white Christian nationalists and racists trying to run the country. They have universal health care. Women have a right to do what they want with their own bodies. They have a better quality of life than we do here in the US. And what we've done here is that we've swapped capitalism for a better quality of life. And we think because we have more money that somehow that equates a better quality of life. And it's a lie. It's a lie that we've been told. So, and when rich people get more of the money, it devalues the US dollar. So even if you have more money, it's worth less. And that's what's happening right now with the tariffs. Canada is using other trade partners now. They're not using wool from farmers in the Midwest. They're going to Argentina. They're not just going to go back to using the US again. It's not going to happen. And there's too many uneducated people in this country that don't even know how the hell the three branches of government work. They have no idea. All they care about is, I hate the libs. They're bad. They're evil. They're from the devil. And that's all they care about. That's it. They don't care if they're living in a trailer for the rest of their lives or in a tent. They're going to own the libs. Yeah, there's better. Yeah, Scotland, England, Australia, Canada. Hell, I'd even pick Mexico right now. The Mexican president, a woman, good for them, is walking down the street. Yeah, yeah, that's what toxic masculinity is for a lot of these alpha males, like the Joe Rogans and the Pete Hegseth. There's this sick, twisted version of masculinity, and it's not masculinity. They're emotionally about seventh graders. They never matured. They never did. I don't even know what conservatism is anymore. I mean, I voted for John McCain and then I voted for Barack Obama, and I thought they were both decent people. I want a balanced budget. I want women to have right to do with their bodies because it's none of my damn business. I want to have universal health care. I don't want billionaires in this country. Call me whatever you want, radical, left, conservative. I don't really care. I just want people to not live paycheck to paycheck and be financially dependent on the government for their entire life. I don't want people working at Walmart. They're working a full-time job to worry, do I have to pay my rent or do I have to feed my family? I don't want that. I don't care what it's called. Claudia Scheinbaum. I don't know her. I'll have to look it up. Thank you, Liv. It's funny. My mom used to say that. Live, love, laugh. She used to say that all the time. That was one of her favorite quotes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what Republican even. I think that party's gone. It is. It doesn't stand for anything except for white supremacy and misogyny. And I want to be an alpha male, and I worship a piece of metal that was endorsed by the NRA. They literally, like, you would think the world. It's like you ever see like a baby like drinking a baby bottle and you take it out of their mouth, they start crying and kicking. That's what it is for them and their damn guns. Like, they don't care how many kids are shot in schools. They don't care if you're shot in a movie theater. Thoughts and prayers, right? We're pro-life. Thoughts and prayers. We're not going to give you living wage. We're not going to raise minimum wage. We're not going to give you universal health care. We don't care if your housing prices is too expensive. We don't care if you have Medicaid or Medicare. We don't care if you have food stamps. But hey, that Second Amendment, that's just a bridge too far. That's an infringement on our personal freedoms. And God forbid, if you're one of the 10 trans kids, out of all of college sports, we're going to pass 200, 300, 400 bills and ban trans people because, that's just leading to the death of so many people in this country. It's stupid. It's culture war. It's the white victim card. All right, but guys, Donald is just an insecure little boy. What are your thoughts on the non-white demographics voting for Trump, i.e. Latinos? I think it's two parts. This is just my opinion. I think just like any other demographic, there are some of them that are racist. And from the people that I've spoken to on TikTok, for a lot of the Latinos, it was misogyny. Because a lot of them are Catholic, and they do not view women as equal. They will never vote for a woman. I think a lot of it's misogyny. I really do. And it's the machismo. I'm a real man. Oh, yeah. Look at me. January 6th. I'm a felon. Ooh, he's a tough guy. He's a fighter. But they don't see Joe Biden or Jesus, even Jesus as they don't. Do you really think that MAGA would consider Jesus masculine? No. Compassionate, kind, sacrifice himself for people. They call him weak. They call him a snowflake. He's woke. He's just another liberal. That's exactly how they view Jesus. They want Barabbas. That's who they've always wanted. And I think for part of it, on the for the non-white, I think this is just my opinion and talking to a lot of different people on TikTok. For some of the black men, some of them didn't educate themselves and they saw him sign the stimulus check. Oh, he cares about me. That was low information voters. And a lot of it is they thought they were going to get a membership card. They thought that the white man was going to let him stay on his plantation. And they run out every day waiting for the card. And it ain't never coming. It's just not. He conned a lot of people into thinking that he cared about them, and he doesn't. He tapped into their toxic masculinity. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I talk to a lot of different people on TikTok. I'm with you, yes. So the Catholic Church. I was one of what? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what you're saying, Jay. Did I miss a question from you, Jay? I don't know what you're saying. I'm sorry. I missed the. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Catholic Church. What the Catholic Church has done to young boys for hundreds of years is unforgivable. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of young men between Europe, between the United States. It's awful. It's awful what the Catholic Church has done. And the people that go to the Catholic Church just act like it's nothing because it didn't affect them. The Baptist Church, same thing. They covered up sexual assault to women for decades in the Baptist Church. Once again, disrespecting women. Going back to the Christian Crusades, I mean, you can't even put a number on how many atrocities have been done in the name of religion in this world, not alone in this country. Yeah. Sorry, Jay. I don't know. I couldn't find your comment, Jay. I wasn't sure if you asked a question or I'm not sure what you were saying. I'm sorry. Did I get all the questions? I'm not sure what you mean about the Taliban prisoners. Are you talking about Israel? Yeah, I don't understand why there's still a whole conversation about Israel. I think it's very simple. It's not complicated. Hamas should not have done that to Israel. Israel has a right to defend themselves, yes. But 2 years later, and almost 80,000 people have lost their lives, you don't bomb a whole hospital with women and children because there might be potentially one Hamas leader at the bottom of the hospital. That doesn't happen. That's not okay. That's not pro-life. And if you're supporting that, then I hope that you bunk next to Jeffrey Epstein one day. That's not pro-life. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's disgusting. It's vile. What's happening there isn't defending themselves from Hamas. It's ethnic cleansing. And I have no problem saying it. And Joe Biden should have done a better job about it. He should have. He should have put stipulations on the weapons that they were not going to be used specifically for Gaza or Palestine, that whole region. But he didn't do it because of AIPAC money, because they donate millions of dollars to political campaigns. And it's gross and it should be stopped. Benjamin Netanyahu should be buried underneath the prison and just left there. I don't even see how that's an argument at this point. I don't want innocent Israels and I don't want innocent Palestinians. Neither people. I'm pro-life. Why is that so hard? It's not. It shouldn't be. Thank you, Irvine. Too many people have conversations like this and they make it political, like their side has to win. Again, I don't care what my label is, red, blue, green, purple. I don't care. I just want people to have a living wage and not be in poverty. I don't want kids shot in schools. Am I radical? Whatever. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to log off in a second. I got to go watch my. I like Bernie Sanders, and I really believe that if he would have won the primaries, which I think he should have, if the Democratic Party would have got behind him, he would have been a better candidate. I think he would have won. I really do. I think his message of the oligarchy is actually a good message that resonates with a lot of people's disdain for the government and the corruption in it. And once again, I think the Democratic Party was more concerned about maintaining the establishment than doing the right thing and picking the right candidate. That's what I believe. I really, really believe that in my heart. I don't think Bernie's got a lot left, buddy. I think he's not a spring chicken anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure what the number. Oh, are you talking about the prisoners? Yeah, I don't want prisoners anywhere. They should. I don't even see this. This should not be. Israel should not be a partisan issue. I'm going to say it again. Israel have the right to defend themselves. What they're doing now is not defending themselves. They are purposefully starving kids and women and children and innocent men in that country. On purpose, they're doing it. That's not going to bring out Hamas. They are bombing hospitals and schools and grocery stores. You don't do that. You don't bomb 20 people or 100 people in a building to find one person. That is not going after Hamas. That is purposefully destroying the people and the way of life of that country. Period. That's what it is. And it needs to stop. This is not Democrat. It's not Republican. It's not independent. It is just being a damn decent human being. I don't want any innocent people. And that includes gun violence at schools, in movie theaters, places of work in the United States. I don't know why this is this isn't controversial. This is very simple. I don't want anybody to be injured. But what's Bernie Sanders and AOC? I love the oligarchy tour, but what's their solution? I love what they're saying. It's a good catchphrase, but what is their solution? They don't have one. That's the problem. I went to the rally, one of the first ones in Las Vegas. I was like 20 yards from the stage. I saw Bernie and AOC. But everybody in the crowd, what's your solution? Give me one Democrat that has proposed a solution other than wait a year and a half and pray to God that we win the midterms, assuming that we don't have gerrymandered districts. I haven't heard one. Well, here's the thing. I like Mondavi. Okay. I like him. He's a mayor and he hasn't even won. Oh, thank you, me. He's a mayor. That's it. He's a mayor of a city. He's not a congressman. He's not a senator. He's not a president. He's not an AG. He's a mayor of a city. That's it. And I think what's happened is that the Democratic Party, the bar is so low that they're jeering the win of him over Andrew Cuomo, who resigned in disgrace for sexually harassing 11 women. Like, that bar is pretty damn low, isn't it? It's pretty low. They got to let it go. Like, I like the guy, but come on. He's not running for president or Senate or Congress. No, war is never the answer. It should never be the answer. And I thought the war was going to be stopped in 24 hours on day one, wasn't it? He sure seems to have time to golf instead of working on the war or working on healthcare or working on Medicaid or balancing the budget. I mean, he sure has a lot of time to do everything else. Yeah, Emmerich, too many people like me they're still privileged. They still think that their whiteness is going to keep them safe from the darkness. And they're going to learn the hard way. They're going to learn that their privilege and their way of life is not exempt from this darkness. Yep. And they're still afraid to speak out. That's a shame. Donald is a sad, lonely little boy who never grew up. He doesn't love his mom. He doesn't love his dad. He doesn't love his wife. He doesn't love his kids. He doesn't love his supporters. He loves the idea of tearing people down. That's what narcissists do. There's a German word called Schadenfreude, which means that you enjoy the suffering of others. That's what MAGA stands for. Schadenfreude. Look it up. People with low self-esteem have a heightened degree of Schadenfreude. Because when they see somebody happy, they have something they don't know how to have, so they tear them down because they don't know how to lift people up. That's all they know. They don't know how to lift people up. They only know how to tear them down. Yeah, I'm not even sure if we have an election in the midterms, what I'm even going to do either, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think that us waiting a year and a half while people are in concentration camps while we have a police state. How is a Democrat going to come to you and say, give me $10? Wait until next November while we're not doing diddly jack right now, except giving strongly worded messages. I mean, just think about that. What are you giving them money for? What are they doing? Nothing. Has any Democrat been in jail? Eddie. John Lewis went to jail. Martin Luther King went to jail. I mean, we had people that were disabled in wheelchairs. They got zip tied in wheelchairs. Retired veterans got zip tied and handcuffed for peacefully protesting and getting into good trouble. But not the Democrats. That's just a bridge too far. Just give us money and vote for us in the midterm so we can do nothing again. I get asked to run all the time. I don't think this country is ready for me. Because I'm not a politician. I walked to work 3.5 miles because I couldn't afford a bike. I couldn't afford a car. Night, rain, snow, didn't matter. Then I borrowed a bike and I finally got a car. And then I couldn't make rent, so I had to sell my PlayStation to pay rent. I had to sell my comic book collection, my Spawn comics, to buy gas one time. I mean, I literally grew up in the school of hard knocks. My stepdad worked 3 jobs at once. I mean, I never had money. That was my whole childhood, was being broke. You don't develop a lot of character. We need a president that needs a job. But there's too many people that want a politician. And they want to tear everyone down that they don't agree with 100%. And I think that's a damn shame. It is. I would disrupt the entire system. I would even consider just sleeping on the halls of Congress until they got in there and did their damn job. Until they passed gun reform, until they passed universal health care. And I wouldn't pass a damn thing. And I would go on the news every day. And I would say, is either side going to get their heads out of their butts and actually do the job and serve the people? Or do we have to vote everybody out? I would do it. That's exactly what I would do. I would hold town halls every quarter. I would go to red states, blue states. I would talk to farmers, union workers, iron workers, people in the cities, all across the spectrum. Because right now, the red team talks to the red people. The blue teams talk to the big cities. They never talk to the farmers. Never. And one of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther King, he said that a true leader is not a searcher of consensus. It is a molder of consensus. And politicians are a searcher of consensus. They find people and they tell them what they want to hear. And they lie to them and tell them that I'm going to give you that. And then they don't. And then when the election comes, they say, well, sorry, we couldn't do it. But hey, vote for me again. This time will be different. And the next time comes, well, I'm the lesser of two evils. And that's where we are. That's where we are every cycle. So let's assume for a second, before I go, that the Democrats win. Then what? How many of you really want Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer? Because I sure in the hell don't. You want that dinosaur that should be in a museum? Really? That's who you want? The guy that voted for the CR? Come on, man. Come on. He needs to go back and change his diapers. Come on, Chuck. Get the hell out of here. You and Nancy Pelosi. Go away. Yeah, the Democrats should be going to farmers. And I wouldn't wear a suit and tie as president. Call me what you want. I wouldn't do it. How many people here go to work in suit and tie? Do union workers, iron workers, farmers, UPS, FedEx, restaurant workers, it's a very small percentage of this country that wear suits and ties. And every night you see people on TV making $170,000 a year. Yeah. How is that relatable? You're going to tell me a waitress that works 50 or 60 hours a week wants to go and watch a guy in a tie making $170,000 a year go on CNN and talk to another reporter that's making $170,000 a year? It's completely unrelatable. It is. Now, there might be certain times that it makes sense if you're going to like a wedding or like a state dinner. There's going to be times where you can do that. You need to do that. But why not just have a guy go on? You can still have a button-up shirt or a polo shirt. Why can't you be a president and just wear a polo shirt and tuck it in and look presentable? I don't see why not. Why? Those people aren't relatable to people like us, to the regular people. They're just not. We go to work in jeans, beat up short. Hell, when I worked for TNT Logistics in Indiana, I wore a white shirt and I used to have to duct tape my shirt so it wouldn't get stuck in the equipment when I picked parts for John Deere. Mandami is only a mayor of a city, but maybe someday that will happen in DC. Well, okay, but Christy, here's the problem. What day is that? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Assuming we have a democracy? And you're going back to the problem. The foundation of the system itself is broken. Until we fix that, it doesn't matter who's in power. And that's, I think, ultimately what this is really all about. The Democratic district where I don't know that name. I'm sorry. All right, guys, I got to go watch my. A progressive. I'll say this before I leave. I think one of the problems that Democrats have, and there's a lot, is that they keep trying to go to the middle or they keep trying to go to the right. And from the feeling I get from most people that are progressives, is they don't want that. They want universal health care. They want to raise minimum wage. Like, I don't know why Democrats won't just listen to their voters. I like Jasmine Crockett. She's not ready for president. She knows that. I think if you're really honest with her, she would tell you that. She's my spirit animal. I love her. She's incredible. If we had a Congress full of Jasmine Crockett's and John McCain's, we wouldn't have any of this going on. They're both decent people. What she needs to work on is getting a little more even keel and not running at 1,000 miles an hour. Vivek Ramaswamy, come on. Let's be serious here. He's a clown. Tim Walz doesn't have enough fight. He's too much of a nice guy. That's the same problem with Andy Beshear. I think he's a great guy. I don't want a good guy. Do you guys want, so let me ask you, and this is a serious question. Do you want a nice candidate like Tim Walz, or do you want someone that's going to fight for you like Rocky V, where Rocky's going to see something happen to his friend Paulie and take Tommy gun out in the street and throw him against a garbage can? What do you want? Because I think most people want the latter. That's what I want. I want to be the guy that I want. This is what I want. I want to be middle of the road. I want to stand for all people, but I'm also going to take you out in the street. Like, that's what we want. And I think that's what most Democrats are craving for. Rocky's a jerk. Oh, in real life. Yeah, in real life he is. I'm talking about just the movie. Yeah, he's really fallen off the radar on the toxic masculinity. Yeah, you want someone that has good policy, but that's not going to sit around and be Nancy Pansy and just talk political caca. Sorry, I know what you're saying. Yes, but we don't have that. And I don't think Andy Beshear is that. I just don't see that fight in him. I think Beto's probably close. I'm not a big Gavin Newsom fan at all. I don't like the guy. I really don't want to have to vote for him. I don't like that he went to the French Laundry during the pandemic when he said that we have to stay home. That was a really piss poor look. How many times did he do that without being caught? I don't like that he cleared the homeless people off the street when Xi Jinping came, instead of actually fixing the problem. If you're going to be president, you want to run for president, then fix the damn problem. Don't do it for a TV photo op. That is not leadership. That is politicians. And I don't want that. And now he's cozying up to Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon. Yeah, he's like a slick Rick. I wouldn't trust the guy farther than I could throw him with a rock. I don't. I don't even know who I would want to vote for right now. Honestly, I don't think AOC is ready. I really don't. Greg Abbott is a white nationalist. That's what he is. He wants to maintain the white patriarchy through Christian nationalism. That's it. That's all he cares about is control. Yeah, the problem is that we're demonizing homeless, right? Or unhoused, or I'm sorry, whatever the proper name is. Well, thank you, Deshaun. I appreciate that. Maybe one day. You never know. I love Pete Buttigieg. He's extremely smart. There's too many bigots in this country that pretend to be Christians that will never vote for him. I don't like saying that. It's just the truth. He's extremely smart. And that was the problem. Not the problem. The problem that MAGA had with Harris. She was smart, she was intelligent, and she insulted them because she spoke complete sentences. She had thoughts. She had ideas. She had a plan instead of concepts of a plan. They wanted concepts of a plan. They wanted the guy that says Hannibal Lecter or electric sharks. They wanted the dumb shit. They wanted the idiot, right? It's like flies that are attracted to garbage. They are attracted to dumb. He spoke dumb and they loved it. And they lapped it up. I think Stephen A. Smith is a clown. He wants attention. He's a clown, is what he is. He's an entertainer. He's a walking circus. He's not going to run. He has no intention of ever doing it. Yeah, Cecilia, I wish I had an answer for you as to why we keep having to settle for the lesser of two evils. I think it's a shame. After 249 years, we still haven't had a woman president. It's a shame. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi too. I don't like any of them. I just don't. Democrats and Republicans, listen, you have the morality of the MAGA, the insurrection, the sexual assault, they're all the immorality stuff. But if you just strip that away, they're both greedy. They both are tribalistic. They both don't give a damn about us. They just don't. They simply don't, my friends. It's just the truth. Somebody has to say it. Neither side cares for us. And if Jill Stein wouldn't be a troll every 4 years, maybe she would pick up some traction. But she has no, where is she right now? Where's Jill Stein right now? She wants to be a leader. Be a leader now. She's going to show up 6 months before the next election and run again and siphon off 1 million votes and be a troll. That's it. She's a protest vote. That's all it is. She attracts people that don't want to solve the problem. Yes? No? Anyway. All right. I got to go, guys. Sorry. I want to candy who will guarantee equal pay, men and women. Yeah, it's a wasted vote. It is. It's a protest vote. So, all right, guys. I got to go. Sorry. All right. Bye-bye.